Well, round 21 is here. Penrith get their big guns back. Still no sign of Ryan Papenhuyzen. Sandon Smith, he's back from the dead. And, well, you could probably say Dave Fafita off to the shadow realm. He's been dropped again. This and much more. Let's cover it.
It's time to strap in and get ready. You're now listening to the Insight NRL Show with your hosts, Brain, Matrix, and Whisperer.
G'day guys and welcome back to the Insight NRL Show. It is round 21's TLT and haven't we got some big talking points ahead of round 21. Now, of course, the show is brought to you by Game Day Squad, the perfect crossover between card collecting and fantasy sports. You can play for free and you can win for free. It doesn't matter how your Supercoach season's gone, you get a fresh start every single week with Game Day Squad. So go on, download the app, it's Game Day Squad, or go to gamedaysquad.com.au. Use the promo code IFSAUS to get yourself 3 9-player common packs if you're new to the game. Of course, they do a lot of other stuff, and the beauty about Game Day Squad is that it's not just the yearly long season that you get based on. You can win prizes every single week. There's still over $30,000 to win with Game Day Squad as well. So get involved. Use that code IFSAUS. Support the show and get involved and take us on. Now, of course, we do have plenty to talk about over on TLT. So let's cover that. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube, you see it on the screen as always every week. We've got the Roosters up against the Storm now. The Storm still missing Ryan Papenhuyzen. They are favourites in this one, but missing Pappy and Munster puts some question marks in there for me. So I'm going to take a little bit of a smoky on Roosters at home after a really poor performance last week. I have a funny feeling that they might be able to put something together here, but they are missing a couple of players of their own. So let's have a chat about it. They are missing Billy Smith due to concussion. Chad Townsend drops out. And like I said at the start of the show, Sandon Smith, back from the dead, gets named in the 6 this week. So I don't know where that's come from or what that means moving forward, but I would naturally assume that due to the fact Hugo Savala's on the extended bench, he still might not get a game. So let's keep an eye on that. And Victor Radley out with a shoulder injury as well. So James Tedesco at the back. Ethan King comes in and replaces Billy Smith due to that concussion he suffered last week. So this is probably a one-and-done type scenario for Ethan King. Sandon Smith back in the 6 there to partner Sam Walker. Hugo Savala is on the extended bench, so I'd be keeping an eye out for him to see any late changes there. It looks like he's trying to come back a bit earlier from that thumb injury. They did say 1 to 2 games for Hugo Savala, so right on track there as expected. Naf White and Lindsay Collins are still up front. The forward pack remains unchanged, but Sua Wong comes back from his injury. He will be replacing Victor Radley, who we mentioned had a shoulder concern there. So he'll start at lock, and Salisi Fiketti stays on the edge there in the 12. Zach Docker-Clay, Steve Butcher, Egan Butcher, and Spencer Lenu are the bench there. So plenty going on here for the Roosters, and I just think that, yes, they're missing Billy Smith. Defensively, that might hurt them a little bit, but I just have I have a funny feeling that they're going to be able to put something together for us this week. The Roosters coming off a really poor performance last week as well, so I'm going to back them to step up. With the Storm, though, of course, no Cameron Munster, no Nelson Asofa Solomon, and no Ryan Papenhuyzen, so they're missing some names. Nick Meaney remains at fullback. Joe Chan remains at centre. Xavier Coates, obviously a really good little pod option on the run home for those of you playing Supercoach. Tyron Wishart is the man to replace Cameron Munster in the 6. Hughes in the 7. Harry Grant, the captain, in the 9. The back row, the forward rotation in general remains exactly the same. Bronson Garlick on the bench there to relieve Harry Grant. Atavalu Lasati, Tui Kamakamika and Kane Bradley there. Kicking Nuffers in the dick with his selection on the bench, which is really quite a strange one. I'd be very surprised if we don't see someone like a Valepu come onto the bench there quite late, who is on the extended bench for Kane Bradley. So we'll just see what that lineup looks like. Don't really need the Kane Bradley versatility in the back row there, I wouldn't have thought. So I'd imagine they're probably going to go with one more middle forward there to beef things up a little bit off the bench. So that is game 1. We'll back the Roosters in game 1. Game 2, we've got the Cowboys up against the Dragons. 160 pays 240. It is at QCB. I'll be backing the Cowboys in this game again. We're talking about bounce backs. They are missing Murray Taulagi, who is unfortunately out with that hamstring injury. Thomas McKaylee also missing in this one. And we do see a bit of a backline shuffle here for the Cowboys. Jackson Purdue is back at centre, which I think is his best position in short term early on in his NRL career. Tom Duffy comes into the team and takes the 6, which makes the question mark around, does Scott Drinkwater kick goals in this team if Tom Duffy's in the team. Still, honestly, couldn't tell you. I have no idea. Braden Burns is the man to go and slide from centre down to onto the wing there to replace Murray Taulagi as he is out. Harrison Edwards also at prop this week, partnered with Griffin Neem. Ruben Cotter at lock. So no more Ruben Cotter on an edge due to the fact that now John Bateman is back into the team. We do see the bench of Carl Lawton, Caden Lars, Kai O'Donnell and Cohen Hess. Lots of Ks and Cs going on here. On that bench there for the Cowboys. Jackson Paulo is the man to drop off as well. He is on the extended bench. So a couple of changes here. And, obviously Tom Duffy hasn't really shown us what he's truly capable of this year. But I think there is every chance it could happen against the Dragons this week, as they are obviously missing Val Holmes, who is replaced by Matt Feeney this week. A worthy replacement for sure. And Corey Allen also comes into the team. He's replacing Sione Finau, who went down with injury last week. So a couple of backline changes there for the Dragons. Will be very interesting to see whether they target that. It'll be, I'm assuming, Matthew Feeney will be on the left side with Corey Allen. So yeah, two big changes there on the left there. So I'd imagine the right side, Robert Darby coming back into the team, and Zach Labert might have a little bit of fun there. And Scotty Drinkwater, I'm sure, will be targeting that right edge. Emre Gula and David Clemmer up front, as they always are. Luciano Leilua and Jaden Sewer on the edges. Jack DeBellin at lock, so no changes there for the Dragons. And the bench looking very, very similar in Michael Molo, Hamish Stewart, Blake Laurie and Jacob Little. So that looks like the Dragons team. Couple of troops out. Obviously, Cowboys are missing Taulagi, but I think they're going to have enough to get it across the line at home in this one. Expect a high-scoring game, I would naturally assume, in this one here. We'll back the Cowboys at home. Third game, we've got the Broncos up against the Eels. Now, big news out of the Eels we'll talk about very soon, but for the Broncos, they do get back Jesse Arthurs. They also get back Corey Jensen and Payne Haas. So three big names there coming back into the Broncos. Reece Walsh at fullback, I should say. Jesse Arthurs onto the wing, pushing Dean Mariner to the extended bench. Ezra Mam and Reynolds are the halves. Xavier Willison still starting at prop there with Payne Haas, with Paddy Carrigan in the 13 jersey there. So we see Hetherington still on the bench, with Corey Jensen starting off the bench, which naturally we would assume he's going to be on a minutes restriction when he comes back. Jack Krzyzewski and Billy Walters, the other man there on the edge. So, big minutes watch on Payne Haas this weekend to see how he manages that back injury. The extended bench there, nothing really to worry about too much. I would assume that this is what they're going to look like coming into game one. Isaiah Iongi out for 4+ weeks with I think it's a broken hand or a broken thumb. Terrible news. But it does give an opportunity to Joash Papali'i, who comes into the fullback spot from the 6, and we do see Dean Hawkins move from the 7 to the 6. Mitchell Moses coming back into the team. So definitely a worthy replacement in Papali, that's for sure. So, very interested to see how he goes with the 1 on his back for the next month. I'm actually surprised because I thought they'd be leaning to Joash staying in the 6 if this was their long-term vision after Dylan Brown leaves. So moving him to 1, it looks like maybe that's their only option. Zach Lomax could be in for a big game here with Mitchell Moses back on that right side too. So keep an eye on that. Jermaine Hopgood, or should we say Jermaine Propgood, stays at prop with Junior Polo. Riley Smith is the hooker. Charlie Geimer, who's been fantastic the last 2 weeks, playing big minutes on the edge, is partnered by Jack Williams, and Dylan Walker there has also been great in the 13. So it looks like they've done some switching here. Jason Riles, and he's done a really good job because it looks like he's had a fair bit of success with that last week. Talon De Silva, Luca Moretti, Matt Dory, and Sam Tuivasa, the bench there to round out the 17. On the extended bench, we do see Bailey Simonson, who's made way. Jordan Samrani still on the extended, and Dylan Brown in the 22, who Jason Riles has basically openly come out and said if Dylan Brown is named, he will be either in the 17 or not in the team at all. So we would naturally assume that we see Dylan Brown drop off the extended bench here for the Eels. We'll be backing the Broncos at home against the Eels in this one. Going to probably expect a pretty big game from Adam Reynolds in this one. I think he's going to step up. Adam Reynolds and Reece Walsh to put some points up in this one. So we'll back the Broncos against the Eels. Game 4, I should say. Sorry, clear my throat. 3 p.m. Saturday. Warriors against the Titans. And I tell you what, for anybody who watches the Supercoach show, you would know the first thing that we do on a Monday when lockout opens is we look and see who the Titans are playing, and it is the Wars at Go Media Stadium in Auckland as well, coming off a cracking closeout win there in the end of the game. Halasima getting the chocolates in that one to get the Warriors over the line, and the Titans having an absolute Barry Crocker last week against the Tigers, just losing there in the end. The Warriors would be, very, very big favourites in this one, and there is absolutely no reason why they shouldn't be. Ali Leotow comes back in, but Charnze-Nicoll-Klokstad back in the one. That pushes Tane Tuapiki onto the extended bench there. So a big in for the Warriors. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, all the hyphenated players are here. Chanel Harris-Tavita, Adam Pompey and Kurt Capewell are the centres. No changes to the halves there. Tanner Boyd gets another shot. I think people were pretty harsh on him last week. He didn't have the best game, but I don't think he was as bad as everybody makes out. James Fisher-Harris, the captain, he is paired with Jackson Ford at prop. Laka Halasima and Murata Niokore are the edges there, and Aaron Clark in the 13. The Titans are going to have to do some serious work here to keep the Warriors out. Tamari Martin, Jacob Laban, Dimitri Valmalga and Tanastawa Smith are the bench there. Like I said, Tani Tuapiki drops back to the extended bench. Ali Leotow still can't work his way back into this team just yet. So, we'll see him, I'm sure. We'll be seeing plenty of good footy from Ali Leotow in the near future. AJ Brimson is the fullback for the Titans. They miss, unfortunately, Tino Fa'asuamaleaui. He is out of the team. Obviously, he misses the next likely 3 to 4 weeks with that MCL knee injury. So good signs that it's not a season ender, but it very well could be depending on how the Titans are going in 4 weeks' time. I would imagine I can see him wanting to play, but it's just is it worth the risk with two games to go in the season with nothing to play for essentially. So AJ at the back, Jalen de Groot and Philip Sami are the wings, Jojo Fafita and Brian Kelly are the centres. No change in the back line there. Kieran Foran and Jaden Campbell in the halves. Jermaine Jolliffe and Moaki Futaweka, he is the prop. Chris Randall stays on an edge with Bo Firma. Cleese Haas is the man to replace Tino in the 13 jersey. And we do see David Fafita completely drop off the bench. He has been banished to the Shadow Realm. He's just had jack of it, apparently, our friend Des Hasler. So AKP also on the extended bench. So just, a bit out of favour here, isn't he? I'm not sure what Des is trying to do here in the last few games, but this is a guy that scores a try a game in his NRL career so far. So I'm really surprised with what this looks like. I'm assuming defensive lapses for the Titans are what are hurting them. And David Fafita played next to no minutes last week, and now he drops off the bench this week. Josh Paxton comes into the team on the bench there to round out the bench. But there's a lot going wrong at the Titans, and I can imagine it's going to be even more after this game. The Warriors just keep finding ways to get the win, and you're not going to go to Auckland and have an easy one, that's for sure, especially when you're riding the bottom of the ladder like the Titans are. Let's move to CommBank Stadium. It is a Panthers home game against the West Tigers. Panthers strong favourites in this one at $1.20. They do miss Jack Cole and Scott Sorensen. They're both out for the Panthers, but some pretty worthy replacements coming in. We've got Isaiah Yeo back. We've got Isaac Tungo back. We've also got Nathan Cleary back and Liam Martin. So some good ins for the Penrith Panthers, and it seems like all of the players always return against the Tigers every damn week. Let's talk about the Penrith Panthers. Tom Jenkins and To'o are the wingers. So To'o's still been named in this team regardless of that hamstring and knee injury that he's been having to manage recently. Nathan Cleary comes back in at halfback, pushing out Schneider. Leota and Smith are the props. Garner still on an edge with Isaiah Papali'i, and Isaiah Yeo returning back to the 13 jersey there. Brad Schneider, he drops to the bench. Liam Henry, Luron Patea and Matt Eisenhuth there round out the bench. Paul Alamotti is the man to make way for Isaac Tungo, who comes back into the team there as well. Dane Laurie on the extended bench. Liam Martin also on the extended. So we could very well see Luke Garner be the man to drop out, or Isaiah Papali'i, depending on how they want to use him, if they're using him in the middle. So, we can expect Liam Martin, if he is fit, to be back in the team. For the West Tigers, let's have a look. Sania Taruva, Isaac Thompson, for his first game coming across from the Rabbitohs. He scored 12 tries in 18 games for the team in New South Wales Cup. So, he's earned his spot. Charlie Staines, the man to make way after his Barry Crocker last week. So, good to see Isaac Thompson getting a crack. He was, I don't know whether it's going to help our defence, but in attack, we'll see how we go. Talon May at centre with Stafford Toa. We've got Jarrell Skelton on the other wing there. Jerome Luai and Latu Fainu are the halves. Terrell May and Alex Twal up front at prop. Api Coruscant named to start again after he started off the bench last week. So he's also just re-signed a 3-year extension all the way through to the end of 2028, where naturally I think that's probably where he'll call his career a day at the West Tigers. So good news for Tigers fans out there. Alex Seyfarth and Tony Sukar are the edges, and Adam Dewey remains at lock in the 13. They were obviously impressed with what he did last week. as was I. Tristan Hope, Jack Bird, Fanua Bole and Sione Fainu are the bench there. Fanua Bole had some great impact off the bench last week, so I like that role for him. Like I said, Charlie Staines drops back to the bench. Extended bench. Brent Naden and Luke Lali'i also there. I'll back the Penrith Panthers in this one, sadly, as a Tigers fan. I think that they're going to be too good for us in this one. Rabbitohs, Saturday 7:30 versus the Sharks. I'm going to be backing the Sharks pretty heavily in this one, so much so that I'll probably buy a Supercoach asset or two this week from the Sharks. Bretton Nickera sadly out with a concussion, as is Jamie Humphreys out with a concussion and Pete Mamazelis. Keon Koloamatangi sadly ruled out for the season. So the Rabbitohs injury woes just go from the gutter to, I don't know, whatever's worse than the gutter. It's not a good spot for the Rabbitohs. Obviously, Jai Gray at fullback there pushes Alex Johnston to the wing. So that is a little bit of good news for Rabbitohs fans. Jai Gray coming back from that broken thumb. Isaiah Tass and Tallis Duncan are the centres. Ty Munro, Alex Johnston are the wingers. Probably a good place for Alex Johnston to be to try and beat this Ken Irvine try-scoring record by the end of the year. We want him on the wing for that for sure. Jack Whiten and Lewis Dodd gets a crack with Jamie Humphreys being out this week, so he gets his first start in the 7 jersey. Good luck to him. He's had to work for it, that's for sure, this year. Tavita Totola and Kepi up front. Ewan Aitken returns back to the back row, so good news there. To pair with Jai Arrow on the edge, and Lachlan Hubner comes in at 13. Liam LeBlanc, Jacob Host, Ryan Gray, and Ashton Ward coming into the team for his first game this year. Shout out to Deadly, who I'm sure will be loving that pick. For the Sharkies, very minimal changes again for them. Jesse Ramian comes back into the team, so good news for the Sharks to have him back. Talakai still in the team, still no sign of Maween Harodi. Ronaldo Mulatalo on the wing with Sione Katoa. Halves haven't changed. The forward pack hasn't changed aside from Nickera, obviously out. Billy Burns comes in to replace him on the right edge. And then the bench, exactly the same as what we've seen the last few weeks. They've made minimal changes to their team over the last probably 4 to 6 weeks, and it's finding them some success. So they're finding it at the right time of the year. Hopefully they can come home with a wet sail. That is the Sharks versus the Rabbitohs. We'll be backing the Sharks very, very comfortably in this one. But trap games are real. Let's talk about the Raiders versus the Knights. Speaking of trap games, it is at GIO Stadium, a tough road trip for the Knights. We do see Chevy Stewart. He dropped out, obviously, of the extended bench. Seb Chris is the man out for the Raiders. He's the only change to this team, and he is replaced by Simi Sasagi, who comes in and starts at centre. Otherwise, no other changes to the forward pack for the Raiders. Owen Paddy, Noah Martin, Morgan Smithies, and Adam Mariota are the bench there. So, yeah, it's a very unchanged team from the Rabbitohs. They're also finding a fair bit of success, and it's not the time to muck around with combinations. So, that is the team for the Raiders. For the Knights, we don't see too many changes either, which is good. I mean, Jackson Hastings at 6 has been he's actually shaped up their attack and looking a lot more threatening in the 6 jersey this year. Jack Cogger in the 7. The back line remains the same. Bradman Best into the team here. Starting to get a run of games now without a hamstring injury, so that's really positive for him, Bradman Best. And obviously, Dane Gagai at the back has been outstanding as well. Jake Saifidi, Leo Thompson, Jermaine McEwen starts on an edge again. We still haven't seen anything from Brodie Jones, who was out with illness last week. He's been named on the extended bench this time around, with Phoenix Crossland still in the 13 jersey, showing you how depleted they are, sadly, the Knights. Tyson Gamble, Matt Croker, Tyson Frizzell, and Jack Hetherington make up the bench there. James Schiller still can't get a game in this since Dom Young's come over to the Knights, so which is completely fair. We're going to back the Raiders in this one, but I tell you what, I reckon the Knights, I just have a weird feeling about this game that I just feel like the Knights might turn up for it. Obviously, they put in a really good performance last week. I just feel like it's not $1.19 plays $4.70. I think it's a little bit closer than that. We'll take the Raiders 1-12 in this game. Last game of the week, 4:05. We've got the Bulldogs up against the Sea Eagles. Satili Tupanua out again, sadly. But we do see Sam Hughes come back into the team, so some good news there. Bronson Sherry also coming back into the team for the Bulldogs. They're pushing Rena Kama out of the team, and Ari Tuala shifting from centre to the wing there for the Dogs. Otherwise, the only other changes here, Sam Hughes coming back in at prop. Viliami Kikau and Jacob Preston on the edges. Jamin Salmons locking the scrum. Kurt Mann, Harry Hayes, Josh Curran and Bailey Hayward. We're starting to get to that time of the year where we aren't really going to see too many drastic changes because teams are trying to find their structure and their combinations coming into the end of the year. We do see here that Seraldo doesn't want to muck around with his halves anymore. He's settled on Lachlan Galvin in the 7, Matt Burton in the 6, which I think is a good decision from him. So, I'm going to be backing the Bulldogs in this game. We've got Manly Sea Eagles. We see minimal changes for them as well, which is great. But a big name coming back in Hamoli Olakawatu comes back into the team here in the 11 jersey to pair with Ben Trebojevic. So that is a very big boost for Manly coming up against arguably one of the better defensive teams in the competition this year in the Bulldogs. Matt Lodge and Siwa Takiawa are still the props. The back line remains the same. They're still running with Lehigh at the back, Tom Trebojevic at centre because they're finding some success there. There's no point fixing something if it isn't broken. So, and Jake Simpkin, Corey Waddell, Ethan Bullymore and Toff Sipley are the bench there as per previous weeks. So no need to change anything there. We'll be backing the Bulldogs in this one. And in a pretty close one, I think it will be. It is at Allianz Stadium. So, I feel like Manly will turn up for this one, and the bookies are probably agreeing with me that it'll be a bit closer than what we would naturally think. So, Manly playing some good footy of late. Guys, that is TLT for round 21. There's only 7 rounds left. Obviously, plenty to play for some teams when we look at the ladder there. You've got a lot of congestion at the top of the ladder, but also there's some teams fighting for those bottom 4 spots in the top 8 as well. So a couple of teams I can see if they want to make their move, they need to make it now. So we're starting to see some pretty consistent combinations and consistent team lists over the last 4 to 6 weeks, with teams trying to do their best to navigate the injury crisis that is in the NRL at the moment. Shout out to Souths, who just can't take a trick this year. Good luck this weekend. Hopefully you heard what you needed to hear ahead of your Supercoach or your fantasy or game day squad competitions, guys. Hit the subscribe button, and if you do like the content, smash the like button below. It does help us get the episode out to more people and grow the channel. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching, guys. Good luck this week. We'll see you later in the week. Catch you then.